Welcome to Activate Good's virtual 9/11 commemoration. I'm Gerald Owens with WRAL. For the past several years, Activate Good has hosted an in-person event to conclude the annual 9/11 Day of Service, a national day of service which honors those lost on September 11, 2001. This year, the event has gone virtual because of the pandemic, but no less exciting. So get ready for an evening of engaging speakers, invitations to participate in at-home DIY service projects that you can do while you watch. And for information on how you can help during the United We Help month of service. To start things off, let's welcome local musician Jason Adamo.
I know that life has its surprises, hard to let go of all our disguises. Let me open the door, you will never be lonely. There's no road going back, don't you know you're my only? Just let me take care of you. You've done this on your own too long. It's the power of two. It's greater than us all. This love I know. As long as I live, I'll take care of you. Stand in the moon, light as it's shining. Though your heart breaks, there's a silver lining. Yes, with me every night, the stars will guide us back home, dear. You can let it all go when it's just you and me. I'll take care of you. You've done this on your own too long. It's the power of two. It's greater than us both. This love I know. As long as I live, I'll take care of you. This long and troubled path brought us to here at last. And in my time of need, your love will rescue me. Yeah. Just let me take care of you. You've done this on your own too long. It's the power of two. It's greater than us both. This love I know. As long as I live, I'll take care. As long as I live, I'll take care of. As long as I live, I'll take care of you. I'll take care of you. Now I'll take care of you. I'll take care of you. Oh, oh.
Volunteering looks different because of COVID-19, but people across the country are still finding ways to help their neighbors, even virtually. WRL is honored to support Activate Good's United We Help Month this September 1st through the 30th. It's a month of service, unity, and learning together to create a better world for all of us. This month of service highlights the great needs in our community in the wake of the pandemic and recognizes that local residents can find and are finding creative ways to serve in these times. And while we honor those lost on 9/11/2001 with service and helping others, messages of unity and acts of kindness are more relevant than ever. Here to share more about Activate Good and United We Help Month of Service is Activate Good's Executive Director, Amber Smith.
Activate Good got its start 15 years ago, just a few short years after September 11th, 2001, when two friends took off on a cross-country journey to volunteer in over 20 states. On their journey, they met with dozens of causes across the country and learned of the great need for volunteers, helpers, action takers, and change makers. How organizations doing critical work, helping feed, house, provide comfort and encouragement to their communities, rely on volunteers. These everyday people raising their hand, giving generously of their time, talents, and resources to do that work. They also learned that at their core, people want to do good, but that sometimes it can be hard to figure out how to get started. So when the friends returned home from their trip across the country 2.5 months later, they decided to help close that gap, to connect people who wanted to do good and help their communities to those causes and the needs in their communities so they could get more good done. Hi, I'm Amber Smith, one of the co-founders of Activate Good. You've just heard how our story began. Now, I'm going to tell you how our story continues today. Activate Good is a nonprofit that believes we all have a responsibility to work towards a better world. So we mobilize volunteers, everyday people in our community like you, to improve the community through people-powered projects for good. Through partnerships with over 500 nonprofits, schools, and community organizations, we identify some of the biggest needs in our region where volunteers can make an impact, then invite people to come together to do just that. We're grateful that since we got started years ago, our volunteer network has grown to include over 29,000 Triangle residents of all ages, each with their unique skills and backgrounds to improve our community. You might have even seen some of our bright orange yard signs around town. They say, "Do good, be kind, change the world." We know that creating long-term positive change is a bit more complicated than that. But you've got to start somewhere, and we think that that simple message is a pretty good place to start. This month, we're inviting you to get started with us during our United We Help Month of Service, a restorative month of service together, learning together, and making an impact together. This has been a tough year. When we see bad things happen on the news, it can feel like we don't have control over much. But helping others, your neighbors, your community, that's something we can do. So I hope you'll join me. Let's learn about local community issues together. Let's take action together. And let's take this thing one day at a time, help one person at a time, and create a better world for all together. You can learn more and get started at activategood.org. Activate Good's United We Help Month of Service couldn't be possible without our sponsors. So thank you to Wells Fargo, our United We Help Month of Service virtual service sponsor, to Genworth Mortgage Insurance, our virtual 9/11 commemoration sponsor, to HCO, to WREL, and to Attended Events. Let's hear now from Mike Golden, Regional Bank President at Wells Fargo, our virtual service sponsor for the United We Help Month of Service.
Hi, I'm Mike Golden, and I serve as Regional President for Wells Fargo's Triangle region. For the past 7 years, Wells Fargo has proudly supported Activate Good's 9/11 Day of Service by partnering with local Triangle businesses to honor our heroes, survivors, and families through volunteer service. This year, we're happy to continue our partnership with Activate Good as they present United We Help, a newly designed volunteer effort that not only provides local volunteer opportunities, both in person and remote, but a virtual learning session as well. Especially during times like now, where our communities need us the most, we are incredibly grateful that Activate Good has carefully revised their efforts to ensure that even during these unprecedented times, they're focused on the importance of improving our communities. Activate Good's 9/11 Day of Service has become an annual tradition for many of us, and we look forward to collaborating with United We Help as this year's virtual service sponsor. During United We Help Month, our volunteer efforts will primarily be focused on two critical opportunities. First, remote-style mock interviews with Dress for Success, and secondly, community outreach for National Voter Registration Day. Both these opportunities address pressing issues that are extremely important during the current challenging environment. Corporate citizenship is one of Wells Fargo's strongest core values. Last year, we contributed $4 million to the Triangle area and volunteered over 13,000 hours to provide community support to organizations that tackle problems like economic disparity, hunger, homelessness, and more. So today, thanks to incredible organizations like Activate Good, we're able to be a part of this community's partnerships honoring our forever heroes, survivors, and families of 9/11.
And now, a few words from Rohit Gupta, President and CEO of Genworth Mortgage Insurance, our virtual 9/11 commemoration sponsors.
Good evening. My name is Rohit Gupta, and I'm the President and CEO of Genworth Mortgage Insurance. We are incredibly honored to sponsor tonight's commemoration. Thank you to Activate Good for their commitment to service and finding a creative way, even in the midst of this pandemic, to transform the traditional 9/11 Day of Service into a restorative month of service called United We Help. I'd also be remiss if I did not thank the teams at Attended Events and WRAL for all the work they've put into making this virtual evening commemoration possible. Throughout this month, people from all over the Triangle are paying tribute to those we lost on September 11th, 2001. By learning more about the challenges facing our community and participating in remote volunteer activities and even some socially distanced in-person volunteer activities. Today, 19 years later, we haven't forgotten where we were, what we were doing, and how we felt on that tragic day. That day, you probably gathered together with your friends and loved ones to find comfort in the face of adversity. And here we are, gathered together via video to remember the lives of those we lost and to honor their legacy through service. At Genworth Mortgage Insurance, we understand the value of service in bringing a community together. We encourage our employees to give back to the causes they care most about by offering them 40 hours of volunteer time off every year. While that's looked a little bit different this year, I'm proud of the ways our employees have found to serve the community and serve each other while we live through another series of tragic events. When we volunteer, we build bonds with each other, we build a deeper understanding of the challenges facing our community. Those bonds are even more critical in trying times like these. Tonight, when you power down your laptop or you step away from your TV, I hope you feel a stronger connection to your neighbors and a renewed desire to continue serving the Triangle community we all know and love. I want to thank you for your time, your creativity, your energy, and your heart. We are truly honored to play a part in remembering those lost on 9/11. Thank you.
Look for the helpers. That's a phrase credited to Mr. Fred Rogers. References the idea that in any tragedy, you'll always find someone helping out. We have seen that playing out here in the Triangle, especially during the pandemic. And while we gear up for our next segment, let's take a look at some local helpers across the area, supporting dozens of local causes in Activate Good's Look for the Helpers photojournalism project. Photography by BC Cameron Yee. The 9/11 Day of Service became a nationally recognized day of service in 2009, 8 years after the 9/11 attacks. It has grown into one of the largest national days of service, with an estimated 35 million Americans participating each year. Here to share a few words about the meaning of the day then and now is the founder of the National 9/11 Day of Service, Mr. David Payne.
Hello, I'm David Payne. I'm the co-founder of the 9/11 National Day of Service and Remembrance, also known as 9/11 Day. First of all, I want to thank you for participating in this observance and organizing your own activities and projects there in North Carolina. It's what you do in the community that truly matters. Let me tell you a little bit about 9/11 Day and how we got started. Very soon after the September 11th attacks, a group of us got together, 9/11 family members, people who had lost loved ones, including my co-founder, Jay, who had lost his brother. And I think for all of us, we just didn't want the terrorists to have the last word in defining for generations to come how our nation and our children were going to remember 9/11. We really wanted to take the day back and to create a far more positive and forward-looking legacy that generations from now, people would be inspired to want to be part of. And our early inspiration was the way the country came together in the immediate aftermath of the attacks. We didn't really have, sort of, at least for a period of time, red states and blue states right after 9/11. I think the magnitude of the tragedy awakened everybody to the fact that we have a heck of a lot more in common than whatever we might separate us politically or whatever. And so we set out on the mission to transform 9/11 from a day of tragedy into a day of doing good, and worked successfully to make 9/11 a day of service under federal law, which happened in 2009. Since that time, 9/11 Day has grown to become the largest day of service in the country. There's more than 30 million people that get out and do all sorts of good deeds and helpful acts and just expressions of kindness in observance of 9/11 and in tribute to not just the people that lost their lives, but the many that rose in service in response to the attacks, our first responders and our members of the military. So as we approach this year and the anniversary, the 19th anniversary of 9/11, of course, there's a lot of things that are different. All the volunteer projects that we had planned around the country that would have involved in-person engagement, we've had to cancel all of those activities because of COVID. And in fact, many other service projects for 9/11 and memorial services have also had to be canceled. But we've pivoted from that. And as you'll see this year, we will be launching a brand new website and a whole new program called 9/11 Day at Home, in which we're going to be curating this incredible list of about 50 or more terrific and creative good deeds that people can do virtually right from home. And it's just all sorts of great things like sponsoring a meal for a first responder, or just arranging for a pickup from Goodwill if you have things you want to give away. So when we think about 9/11 Day at Home, it's not just our program, it's also your program. And so I encourage all of you to think about good deeds that your community can do, your members, your organizations. Think of things that would be virtual, things that they could do safely. If you're going to do some in-person volunteering, please make sure that you follow social distancing. We certainly don't want we don't want 9/11 Day to be a reason why people might get sick. So in any event, what I do is I encourage you to go to 911day.org. That's where you'll see all the really terrific ideas and good deeds that we have for you to consider this year. So again, thank you so much for what you're doing to make sure that the terrorists don't have the last word, and for ensuring that we can be successful in transforming 9/11 from a day of evil into a day of doing good. Thank you.
Part of United We Help Month of Service is featuring a handful of ways that you can volunteer from your own living room with your family. In this segment, we'll show you how you can help local animals that need a home. Take a look.
Hey Rachel, okay, so tell me a little bit about where we are and what you all do here.
Yeah, so this is Second Chance Pet Adoptions. We are the area's oldest no-kill animal rescue organization, and we help cats like Boris here and dogs find their forever homes.
Tell me a little bit about what it's been like here since the pandemic started.
Yeah, so we've kind of gone through some shifts. You know, when it first started in March, we were on a much smaller volunteer shift. You see there's probably about a half dozen people here in the building today. We were at that time doing cat care and dog care with just about 2 people here. So there was definitely a period of time where everybody was working on overdrive to keep as many people home as possible. But now that we've moved into a new phase in North Carolina, we have brought a few more people in. We are closed to the public, so that does complicate a few things, but we have been open for adoptions by appointment only. So we are actually sending more pets home now than we were at this time last year. A lot of folks have been thinking about getting animals for a long time, and they just wanted to be home a little bit longer so that they could acclimate them into their new environment. So now they're really jumping on their opportunity to do that.
Yeah, and you know, with folks facing isolation, I would think it's the perfect time to adopt a pet.
It is, as long as they're also committed to that pet after they go back to work and resume their normal lives, which who knows when that will be. But it's definitely been nice for people to not be traveling at this time and to not have the usual activities that they're juggling, so they can help get their pets feeling like they're at home.
I know my dog has loved having me home a little bit more. So tell folks a little bit more about some of the ways that they can be supporting the incredible work that you're doing right now.
Absolutely. So as the pandemic continues longer and people are out of work longer, we do expect that people will have a hard time affording care for their pet and might begin surrendering them in larger numbers to the local county shelters. Most of our animals are pulled from those shelters, so the busier they get and the more animals they take in, the more we'll have to pull into our shelter or into foster care. So definitely donating is a way to help us ensure that we can continue taking these animals as they come in larger numbers. We do also have volunteer needs. We have some folks who help us take care of the animals in our program. We have folks who help us with administrative work. And we have people who help us with our largest fundraiser of the year that's coming up in October. It's a virtual event that features an auction. And so whether folks are out there helping us collect auction items, driving around town, picking them up, preparing them for presentation through the bidding software, there's definitely room for people to help out in any number of ways here at Second Chance.
There's so many ways that you wouldn't even think of to help out animals.
Yeah, you know, we've got folks who are allergic to animals and they come in and help us, you know, with our mailings that we do, or taking photographs just of the work that we're doing here, helping us run our website and our social media. There are lots of ways to get involved.
And there's even a do-it-yourself project that folks can do from home, making dog toys out of t-shirts.
Absolutely. So we really depend on treats and toys. I know they may not seem like essential items, but they do help us socialize the animals so that they can become adoptable more quickly and they're less likely to get returned by their adopter. So toys like that help us bring them out of their shell, you know, start to form a relationship between animals and humans, they're always so valuable to have.
And instructions for that do-it-yourself project, which anyone in the family can do, or you can even do together as a family, will be on our website, so check that out when you can. For other ways that people can get involved, how do they do that?
Yeah, so they can find us at secondchancenc.org. We have a volunteer application. You can also send a message through the Contact Us form, or you can message us on Facebook. We're at Second Chance NC there, and we are monitoring those messages all the time. And so we are happy to help plug people in wherever they would do best, whether that's volunteering, in the building, at a virtual event, or adopting and fostering.
All right, so who do we have here? This is one of our Tortie cats, Jules. She is part of a bonded pair with Amanda, and she and Amanda are looking for their forever home together. So if you want a pair of cats who will keep each other occupied, check out Amanda and Jules. Oh. And who is this? So this is Drew. He is one of 5 puppies that we just rescued along with their mama, and he will be adoptable through Second Chance. Aww.
Volunteering isn't just for adults. Research shows that children who are introduced to volunteering when they're young are likely to continue volunteering as adults. Now we get to hear from a few local teenagers who think volunteering is important and what they have been doing to make an impact in their communities.
Hi everyone, my name is Anna Harris. I'm from Wake Forest, North Carolina, and at a very young age I started volunteering with Activate Good, and through these experiences I realized that even at a young age you can have such a big impact on the lives of others. Unfortunately, these past couple months I have been unable to visit my grandfather in his assisted living community, so I started to send him some cards and care packages in hopes of brightening his day. When I realized just how isolated some of the other residents were, I knew that my community could easily come together to create an event to bring some joy to their lives. So I organized an event called Sunshine for Seniors, and community members of all ages were eager to participate. Everyone became creative in their homes, making uplifting and inspiring cards, like this one. To date, I have been able to send off hundreds of handwritten cards of encouragement and care packages to senior citizens. So just a reminder, even a small handwritten note can bring so much joy to someone's life.
One thing I did over this pandemic to help and give back to my community was volunteer at Note in the Pocket. It's an organization which makes sure that kids have the proper attire to wear to school or in the winter and so on. I believe it's important for teens to volunteer because it gives them a sense of giving back to a community, and they can actually find the problems that are in this world and help and actively solve them. It also builds a good foundation so that when they're adults, they're more likely to volunteer more and give back more. Thank you.
Local seniors are especially facing isolation during the pandemic. This next segment highlights the story of a local volunteer and senior who found friendship through service with the Center for Volunteer Caregiving, and highlights another DIY service project you can do from your living room that will bring encouragement and cheer to isolated seniors around the Triangle.
My name is Colette Murphy, and I'm a volunteer for the Center for Volunteer Caregiving. Seniors are facing increased isolation because of the pandemic, and it's just important that we embrace and try to include them in our daily activities.
I'm Nancy Alford. Words can't even describe how I feel about Colette. She's just a jewel and sort of a lifesaver, I guess. We just connected. Our personalities blend, and I'm just so thrilled. So thankful for the program. I didn't even know it existed. Sometimes a whole week will go by, I see nobody. So I'm thankful for my cats, I have two, and the birds that keep me busy. And I'm usually outside. I've been out there 4.5 hours yesterday.
I love volunteering. I really don't do a whole lot of physical things with my person that I volunteer with, but we just enjoy each other's company so much, and it's just a way to connect, and I get so much out of it as well.
If I need help, like I'm not supposed to go upstairs or climb a ladder or get into the attic, Colette has helped me do that. She's hung some pictures for me on the porch. I don't know, she's just valuable, so valuable. I can tell you how valuable you are.
I mean, she's just fascinating. It's just interesting to me to get to know more about.
She's fascinating.
More about her.
She's mysterious.
I've been called a lot of things, but not that.
Hey there, so I am here with Elaine Whitford. Tell us a little bit more about your organization and what you do.
So I'm with the Center for Volunteer Caregiving, and we engage volunteers to provide supportive services for older adults and adults with disabilities in Wake County. So our focus is on providing friendly visitors, light housekeeping, telephone reassurance calls. We also have volunteers who provide caregiver respite for caregivers taking care of a loved one 24/7. And we also have an escorted transportation program, taking older adults and adults with disabilities to doctor's appointments, taking them to the grocery store, to the pharmacy, or to the bank. We also have a team of volunteers that's doing grocery shopping for older adults and adults with disabilities who either cannot leave their home or just don't want to right now in the pandemic.
Wow, so there really are so many ways to help seniors right now.
There really are. Really just a phone, it's as easy as a phone call to someone just to check in with them and let them know that somebody's thinking about them.
There is even a project that you can do right now from the comfort of your living room. Tell us about this. This is Operation Senior Smiles.
So at the beginning of the pandemic, we had so many people asking how they could help from their home. And we realized that folks who are isolated are sitting at home, and there's something real simple that could be done to put a smile on their face, and it's make a handmade card or send them a positive message. So that's how we created Operation Senior Smiles. And we have a flyer that's on our website on the home page. You can download it, and it gives you all the instructions where to mail it. And you don't need to go to the store and buy anything special. Just use old scrap paper or construction paper, glue. We've had folks do watercolors, stickers, really anything you have in your house. So far, we've gotten over 3,000 cards, which is fantastic.
Wow.
And we will continue to send them to older adults in Wake County who are lonely and just need a little lift. As long as we get cards, we will get them into the hands of folks that they will make a difference for.
That's so amazing. Sometimes it's just the simplest things that you can do to help out.
It really is.
So tell us, Elaine, if someone's interested in volunteering, how do they get connected to you?
It is very easy. You go to our website at volunteercaregiving.org, go to the volunteer page, and there's a place to sign up right on our website. It's as easy as that.
Awesome.
Born and raised in Nash County, Roy Cooper attended public school and worked summers on the family farm before attending UNC Chapel Hill on a Moorhead scholarship. After attaining a law degree from UNC, Roy Cooper has spent nearly 3 decades in public service. In 2000, the people of North Carolina elected him Attorney General, and in 2017, he was elected governor. Kristen Cooper is honored to serve as First Lady of North Carolina, the state she has called home for nearly 3 decades. As First Lady, Kristen Cooper is using her voice and her platform to champion the well-being of children in this state. As a mom, attorney, and guardian ad litem for many years, she's primarily focused on the issues of foster care, child abuse, and neglect, childhood hunger, early childhood development, and literacy, as well as access to the arts and nature for children's overall health and wellness. She and Governor Cooper raised their 3 daughters here in North Carolina. Each of them is a graduate of UNC Chapel Hill. Please welcome Governor Roy Cooper and First Lady Kristen Cooper.
Hi, everybody. I'm Governor Roy Cooper.
And I'm First Lady Kristen Cooper.
Every generation has a moment in time that transforms us, a moment so powerful it becomes a way we mark time. 9/11 was that moment for our nation.
Today, we mourn those who died on September 11, 2001, and honor all the first responders who rushed to help.
We continue to call on our first responders in the worst of times, and they continue to respond. Throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, our North Carolina National Guard has worked around the clock to get food, water, and supplies to people across the state, on top of responding to the storms and the earthquake that hit our state during this same time. That spirit of public service brings out the best of us, which is why I am so grateful to all of you who are honoring this day of service.
Volunteers are needed now more than ever. We're so thankful for the work of Activate Good. They're connecting North Carolinians with volunteer opportunities across the Triangle. I recently went to Knightdale High School to join Activate Good and Wake County Public Schools. Together, they're working hard to ensure students get the tech equipment they need for a successful school year.
During a pandemic, when it's harder to be together in person, helping our neighbors and having a sense of unity are more important than ever. These are tough times for our state, but North Carolinians are determined and resilient. And if we keep working together, I know we can get through this and come out on the other side even stronger than before. Thanks.
The photos you have been seeing throughout the evening come from Activate Good's Look for the Helpers project. Earlier this summer, Activate Good worked with photojournalist B.C. Cameron Yee to create a collection that is so inspiring. They make me want to get out and help others in the community. In this next segment, we will hear from Wake County Human Services about how volunteers can affect the lives of families and children through another DIY service project, Family Essentials Kits. You can do them from home. Take a look.
I'm Beata Maria Gabrielle, and I'm with Wake County Human Services. I'm a program specialist in our Human Capital Development, Social and Economic Vitality Department. My active role in the county is a life coach. So I work with the families to help them move from point A to point B, or anywhere they would like to go on the spectrum. And thanks to COVID, I get to work very in depth with our food security team, which is helping to provide food, nutritious food, to families across our county. And in that, we get to discover other needs that the families may be having at this time.
So Bianca, tell me a little bit more about some of the needs that you've been seeing as a result of the pandemic.
Well, as a result of COVID-19, we have seen an increase in families needing basic household needs. So from their mental health to their day-to-day living expenses, and so we're diving into different parts of that. But mostly it's been around how do I provide for my family during this pandemic and then beyond.
And this is an area that volunteers can be really impactful in, right? So tell me a little bit more about how people have, rallied and helped out these families.
Had it not been for our volunteers, there's no way our county would have been able to survive. We have many nonprofits and just regular mom and dad families at home who saw the need and has stepped up. Many of our volunteers have been actively involved in our food distribution. We have had some senior groups making face masks because they couldn't come out. So at their leisure of their home, they were able to make face coverings for us. So the volunteers have been a critical part to our organization.
And there's even a way that people can be helping from home, these do-it-yourself kits that people can make. Tell us a little bit about the need for these kits and some of the things that we're going to be putting in them.
Well, first of all, thank for any volunteers that come out, but specifically with these hygiene kits. These kits are needed across our county, from our families, to our single person, and especially with our seniors. So a family have an opportunity, or individual has an opportunity to assemble these kits at home, and basic daily things that we may take for granted, like lotion. We found how critical lotion is, especially in our seniors, as your skin may be peeling and cracking. Something that takes care of our hygiene also helps to lift our emotional spirit as well. So when you take a look at a bar of soap, that we may have packs of them, well, for someone who has to decide, will I be able to buy soap or laundry detergent or toothpaste or pay a utility bill? So when we look at the things that's going in that hygiene kit, we think of the broader spectrum of it. We're looking at someone's health, their physical and their mental health. And so it's playing a much larger piece in our community than just a bar of soap, some toothpaste, and some shampoo. We're actually helping people change their mindset about how they're feeling, so their mental state as well.
It's incredible how something just as simple as a bar of soap can completely transform your day, your week, your year.
Exactly. I like telling folks I love camping. I love being out in the wilderness. But when you go home and you take that shower, the feeling of refreshness, how it totally transforms how you feel about yourself as well.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And you can get information about how to make these do-it-yourself kits on our website, activategood.org. We'll show the link here. Go ahead and check out the list of what's needed. There will also be a list of locations where you can drop off your completed kits and the times you can do so. And going into the fall, there might even be more volunteer needs for folks to come out and help with some of those feeding sites, right?
That's correct. So we still have ongoing needs in the food security area. We are now have hubs across the county. We have 16 different locations. And then we have other special need populations that we would need assistance with. So by connecting with Activate Good, we'll be able to then link them to our Google site where they'll be able to sign up on.
So keep an eye on our site where we'll showcase a lot of those needs this month and going into the future.
Tonight, we have learned a few ways to improve our community. To learn how we can do that through United We Help Month and beyond. Once again, here's Activate Good's Amber Smith.
So now is your time to take action. With needs increasing across our region, the Triangle needs the biggest mobilization of helpers, do-gooders, and volunteers this community has ever seen. Let's come together, united, to help one another, to volunteer, donate, take care of our neighbors, and invest in the well-being of our community for a better future for all. No matter your skills or talents, there's a way that you can be a part of creating positive change, whether it's taking 5 minutes to write a card to provide encouragement and combat loneliness for a local senior, helping bring meals to families in need, or pledging a few hours each week to tutor and support a local student as they undergo distance learning. How do you even begin? That's easy. Start by checking out hundreds of volunteer needs with causes around the Triangle at activategood.org. You can get involved in more volunteer and learning events as part of our United We Help Month at activategood.org/united. Participate in person or remotely from home. Take on one of our do-it-yourself service projects with your family from the comfort of your living room. There are so many ways, big and small, to help. And we invite you to take part in whatever ways you can and feel comfortable doing right now. And if our work inspires you, we encourage you to support Activate Good too. Learn more about how you can support the work we're doing, from joining our monthly giving program to supporting a special program with a one-time donation at activategood.org/donate. Finally, thank you for watching our program tonight, for having the heart to help, and for envisioning the world that we can create together.
There are so many ways to volunteer and participate in service. Once again, we'd like to thank the coordinators, Activate Good, and sponsors Wells Fargo and Genworth Mortgage Insurance, attended events, and the community volunteers who are doing good across the Triangle this month. I'm Gerald Owens. Thank you for being part of this wonderful effort.